Yes, sir. We right here in it. All right, welcome everyone. Dr. Norton, your host for 2K20. Really exciting episode today. We're gonna have Tremaine, MBA, to come in and talk to us about what to do with that stimulus check. So I want to shout everyone out, and definitely want you guys to ask questions. So whatever questions you guys may have, feel free. I'll pin that in the comments. Feel free for questions. Hopefully everyone's doing well in this quarantine. We want to be able to give you guys some information just about the stimulus check, about what you could do with your money. We're really trying to do some financial empowerment. Feel free to ask questions. Okay. Ask questions. All right, so while we're waiting for Tremaine, if you guys could go ahead and check in, let me know where you guys are viewing from, what state, what city, so I can shout you guys out. Yes, sir. We right back at it. Mason, what's up, Mason? All right. Shout out California. How you guys doing out there? Okay. All right. So just waiting for her to join the live, and then we'll be all good. So as a matter of fact, shout out the Bronx, shout out Mason. So yeah, guys, whatever questions you guys have about the stimulus check, want to make sure that you guys ask them. Tremaine, so she's a investment advisor. She's an MBA. She went to the Hampton University, but she just logged on, so I'm gonna let her do her introduction.
Hey,
Hey, man, how you
hey,
doing? How's
doing
everything?
great. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I was just letting the people know a little bit about what we'll be doing today. How you doing though?
I'm doing great. I heard the Hampton University, so I got excited. So,
That's right. That's right. That's right. I was letting them know. I was letting them know about that excellence. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Uh, yeah, but yeah. So I guess we could start with introductions and all this stuff. Before we get into that, I see you working hard today. You got a lot going on.
It's working a little bit.
Little bit, little bit, little bit. I like that. I like that. Okay. All right. So yeah, we can go ahead and do introductions. I pinned for people to ask questions. We'll definitely be able to try to get to them. And there's a way to. Oh, I'm doing something wrong. Leave it to me. All right, perfect. There's a way to get questions. Turn off questions. Okay. All right, we're good. All right, so yeah, let's go ahead. We could do the intros, and then yeah, we could talk about the stimulus money.
Yeah. So, hi, everybody. My name is Tremaine Wills. I am the owner and founder of Mind Over Money LLC. It's a registered investment advisory firm founded in Newport News, Virginia. I am a licensed investment advisor. I love talking about money. So, we're going to have a good time tonight. Definitely feel free to ask any questions. There are no dumb questions. We're all learning in this process. So, if you have a question, ask, right?
Right.
Yeah. What else? Is there anything else y'all need to know?
Did you go to Hampton for your MBA as well?
I did.
Okay, were you 5 year?
5 year MBA.
Okay, awesome.
Yep.
So yeah, Tremaine and I both went to Hampton, so we got the HBCU connection. You know how that goes.
The greatest institution on the face of the earth.
That's it, the best one. What made you go business? Is it something you always wanted to do? Let's get into that a little bit.
So, I was just chasing money. Really,
Okay.
That's the honest answer. I've been a hustler for a while, and legally,
Right.
I was braiding
Entrepreneur.
hair. Yes, entrepreneur. That's the word. I learned how to braid hair at a young age, and I've just been making my own money for a while. And when I asked, what's the degree that's going to make sure I make a lot of money, folks said business. So that's the direction I went.
Right. For sure. If you said that you were braiding hair and kind of doing your own businesses and things like that early, it is good to get that foundation behind it because, if you got that hustle mentality, and you have that theory and foundation behind it, it helps you put the right things in the right places for sure.
Yeah.
What made you start the investment your company?
So I used to work for a firm, and I was seeing a lot of folks that didn't look like me as
Right.
my clients, and you get tired of not helping people that don't look like you.
Yeah.
So I decided I wanted to come back and really focus on the education piece of helping us understand how to
Mhm.
invest, what it means to invest, and not be afraid of not knowing things. So I think sometimes we don't get involved because we don't want to look stupid,
Right.
and providing a space for it to be safe to not know, because I didn't always know.
Mhm.
And we have to give people the space and the grace to learn, and so that's what my firm tries to do. We try to teach and walk you through the process so that it's okay.
Right. Right. Similar story. So it sounds like you're trying to use your talents to, um, you know, get in the community and uplift your community through knowledge and financial literacy and that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I mean, I think that's what it's about. Honestly, that's what made me start my mental health agency. I see that there were a lot of different agencies. Nothing really ran by people of color or substance. And being able to kind of use my education and tools and network to try to uplift the community. My thing is therapy, but your thing is finance. But definitely
Mm-hmm.
similar stories for sure. I
Yeah,
think
two
someone
things
had
our community needs, both of those things. So
right for
yeah.
sure, for sure. All right, so J Hop, H in the building. What's up, J Hop?
J-Hope!
And then so Sabrina Payne it's tall. So she said my credit score has stayed in the same. I want to boost it. I can talk a little bit about that. All right, so the credit score is comprised of different components. I could correct me if I'm wrong, Tremaine. I think the biggest component is going to be the credit utilization ratio. So that means if you have a credit card, let's say you have one credit card and it's $1,000. If you spend 500 on it, your utilization ratio is 50%. So that's gonna impede your credit score. So I think one of the quickest fixes is making sure that your utilization is down below,
Yeah.
like what they 28%, 28,
Yeah.
30.
Staying below 20-30%, but you're right. That's 30% of your score, that utilization. And
Right.
so another big way to help improve your score is to ask for late payment forgiveness.
Mm.
Your payment history is 35% of your score. And so we have a lot of folks that are hopping into this credit repair space now, and they're telling you, delete everything, try to get it all removed. But if your late payment history is still bad, even if they take off, your collections and things like that, that's still 35% of your score that is not fixed yet. So the two biggest things you can do to improve that credit score are asking for late payment forgiveness, and then, like Dr. Norton said, taking that utilization rate down.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And I think you bring up a good point because yeah, when I had a little credit repair specialist with it. They were taking some things off and all that. But so they had one account. So when they deleted it, it like removed a piece of my history. So it actually negatively affected my score. So I think that's definitely good information. All right, so let's get into these stimulus checks. Let's talk about I guess who's eligible about the stimulus check. All that
Yes.
stuff.
Okay. So the stimulus check is money from the federal government to try to help move money in our economy. Essentially, the folks who qualify are people who make under $99,000, right? So you might have heard the $75,000 number, which is like the number for individuals to get that $1,200. So if you
Okay.
make $75,000 or less, you qualify for the 1,200. Now there is a range between 75,000 and 99,000 where you could still get some stimulus money, but you wouldn't get the full amount. And so as your salary, your annual income gets closer to that 99,000, your stimulus phases out.
Okay.
So these are the folks that got money. Now, reasons why you might not have gotten any if you do fall in that range is maybe you have some child support that you have to pay.
Mm.
Old child support will knock you out. If you are a student, that is claimed by somebody else, you will not get any stimulus money. Those are the two biggest things. But folks who are getting SSI, those type of benefits, they qualify as well. So
Okay.
I think that the biggest problems folks were complaining about was they owed child support and they were a student that was claimed by somebody else, so they did not get stimulus.
Right. So if you're independent, you're out. One thing I want the people to know. So if you didn't receive your check yet, are you out of the race or?
No, you're not
Okay.
out of the race.
Right.
So if you didn't receive your check yet, there's a couple things you can do. Go directly to the IRS website and check to see what has happened. Some of the reasons might be that you did not set up direct deposit from your 2018 or 2019 tax return. And they don't have an account on file to do a direct deposit. So you'll be getting a paper check, which is going to come in the mail, and it'll take weeks. Another reason might be if you have a new account and you have not changed your direct deposit location. And this happened to my sister. She got her direct deposit last year at a different institution, opened a new account, and she didn't get the deposit in this account because they didn't know she had a new account. So you need to go see what is going on with your specific situation to determine, okay, hey, what can I do to fix it? Also, if you have not filed taxes at all, you need to go to the IRS, to the non-filers portal, so that you can submit information to receive.
Is that 2019 or 2018? I'm sorry, not to cut you off.
So either. So there are some people who don't make enough to file taxes, and they still qualify for the stimulus check. And so even if you don't make enough, they need your information so they know where to send your stimulus check.
Right, for sure. And I think for people who have children, is the cap, so let's say you make, what is it, 175 if you're a couple, or 99 individually. I believe if you make over that, but if you have your children, you still should get something for the children, I believe.
500 per kid.
Yeah, 500 per kid. Yep. Okay. All right, sounds good. So great information there. So the main thing is going to the irs.gov. I was reading an article today that said millions of Americans, they're receiving an error message where it's saying they can't determine the amount that they'll receive yet. So just be patient. I know some people receive the check, but just kind of, go with the flow, check the IRS. And then I read another article. So, people go to tax preparers, right? And sometimes they'll have the tax preparation to where it's like, you can walk out the door with 5,000 right now, and then, they'll send us the check. When those kind of situations happen, because the refund is deposited into, let's just say, H&R Block. From my understanding, you have to update your bank information.
Yes, that's correct.
Right.
That's correct. So if your tax preparer gave you an advance on your tax return, they're collecting the deposit. So you have to go update that information so that you get your return.
Right. Exactly. Great point. All right, so let's talk about some things to do with that stimulus.
Yes, let's do some fun stuff with this stimulus. So, well, before we do the fun stuff, the very first thing that we need to do with this stimulus check, of course, is pay bills. Now, for many of us, we're fortunate that we are still employed and we have regular income coming in, but there is a segment of the population that is not receiving unemployment benefits yet, or they may not qualify for unemployment benefits. And if this is you and you've gotten the stimulus, take care of your bills, right? Because we don't know when outside is going to open back up. And so you want to secure the housing. You want to make sure that you have food, and that you can at least calm some of your anxiety about your financial situation. So while it might be, very tempting to copy what you see a lot of people doing on social media, buying different things, make sure you take care of yourself first and cover the necessary bills. So that's the first thing.
All right. So definitely want to make sure you guys are taking care of those bills. Somebody said something. So shout out, what is it? Yamp Gang 16 said that's probably what happened to those people in the city tax scam. I'm not familiar, but maybe he's talking refund. Refund. Okay. So first step, make sure that you definitely take care of your bills. I know a lot of mortgage providers and like what is it? Car finance companies, they're allowing some loan forgiveness. I'm not sure how I feel about that because from my understanding, it's a compounded interest kind of thing.
Yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. So this is what I mean by paying your bills. So just because there is an opportunity to delay it doesn't mean that you should.
Right.
Um, if you can pay your bills right now, pay them because it's going to cost more later.
Mm. No, another point. So just talking resources for people. So 401ks. Typically you could do like hardship loans and things like that to access your money. So apparently, you're able to access 401k funds with no penalty. You still got to pay the taxes, but you're able to do it no penalty. And from my understanding, a lot of people's 401ks are tied into the stock market. So
Yes.
yeah,
So, okay. I applaud the effort that the government is trying to make to help, but if you do not need the money, don't touch it because as soon as you liquidate those assets, you prevent yourself the opportunity to recoup your gains that you've lost since the market has started declining. So while it might seem like it's a great idea to tap into that 401k because you have the access to it penalty free, if you can avoid it, try not to use it.
right, for sure. Now, I always advocate, I mean, I see 401k is kind of like a big savings account. Um, if you need to liquidate it to get an asset that's, let's say you're going to buy a house or you're going to start a business or something that's going to kind of produce some cash flow or give you some equity, I'm not totally against it, but just to tap into it just because it's penalty free, I don't think is a wise choice for
Yeah,
sure.
we always got to take into consideration the opportunity cost, right? If it costs me more to take it out than what I'm going to get in return, then it doesn't make sense. But like you're saying, I would still caution even buying a house,
Mm-hmm.
because unless that house is going to produce an asset right now, like you're buying a rental property,
Mm-hmm.
sure, but taking it out right now to buy a house is not wise.
Got you. Okay. All right. So what's the next thing people could do? First thing is
The
bills.
next thing is to save and invest.
Mm,
So, um, I've seen so many folks, asking what stock should I buy? What stock should I buy? And the real question is, how much money have you saved in your emergency fund?
mm.
Because again, we don't know how long we're going to be in this situation. Um, and while many of us are employed right now, your employer could shut down.
Right.
So you want to make sure that you have enough money in savings to carry you just in case something happens. But then you want to be wise with it too, and start to look at ways that you can invest. Does it make some sense to put a little bit more money away for retirement while you can purchase quality assets at a cheaper price? Um, can you start to look at some different ways to make money? So I've had people reach out and ask about options trading and different ways like this where they can still make money and not take on as much risk because they're being educated. So saving and investing is another huge opportunity here. Does it really help with what the government was trying to do with the stimulus? Meh, maybe not, but it's a wise choice to make.
Yeah, for sure. And there's tons of ways people can invest. Stock market is a big one. You mentioned options. What are options?
So options, they give you the right to buy or sell a stock at a future price at a future date. So essentially it's like um it's giving me a choice to buy something maybe at a price that the person I'm buying it from doesn't want to sell it for.
Mm-hmm.
So it really just is an option. It gives me a choice to do something with a future economic benefit.
Right, for sure.
So
All
it's a
right.
little bit more of an advanced concept, but once you learn what it is, it can definitely be a way to help diversify your portfolio.
Right. And I think diversifying your portfolio is really big. So we got the stock market, right?
Mm-hmm.
People are getting to foreign exchange. Some people are getting into like cryptocurrency and things like that. Some people buy gold and silver and
Mm-hmm.
certain coins. Uh, what do you think? I don't want to go all the way like economy, but with the stimulus check and the U.S. dollar not being on the gold standard, what do you think of that? Could be
I
dangerous, right?
think it's very dangerous.
Right.
But at the end of the day, what can you do?
What can you do?
A lot of people have been talking about, investing in gold. And my response to all of this is to read and research,
Mm-hmm.
and really understand what you're purchasing, right? The A lot of the strategies you've mentioned with the foreign currency or forex is what a lot of people are doing, and cryptocurrency and buying gold. A lot of them have tended to be connected to network marketing, which inherently isn't bad, but it tends to prey on our communities.
Okay.
So you'll want to
Like a
make sure
Ponzi
that,
scheme? Like a
huh?
pyramid scheme?
I don't want to call it pyramid schemes because those are illegal,
Okay.
but network marketing
Okay,
where
network marketing.
just be mindful of what fees you're paying for and results that people are actually getting, because a lot of times these opportunities, you can get the same if not better results not plugged into a platform that requires a monthly fee.
Right.
So I'm not saying, don't do network marketing. I'm saying do your research and understand these companies that are promising prosperity quickly, because
Right.
we know get rich quick things are.
Easy come, easy go.
Yes.
Right.
So just be careful and do your research.
Right, for sure. And I think educate yourself is really, really important. Like reading books like Rich Dad Poor Dad, like Cash Flow Quadrants, even YouTube. So being able to um, I watched this podcast, Earn Your Leisure. So it's two African American males, financial literacy. They kind of walk through different people's success stories. So recently they had it's a young 14-year-old kid. His name is Trey Brown, and he started a clothing company called Spurgo, right? So
Mm-hmm.
Spurgo, they got like the jumpsuits. He's in Philly, but he pretty much started with $178 and then used like guerrilla marketing tactics. So like going to every single barbershop, like hand to hand sales. And now he's at the opportunity to, retire his mom. His mom's an accountant. Diddy's wearing his product, the baby. He's really making some momentum. But I think that having the research and knowledge is going to be very, very important for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so we got pay bills, number one. Number two, save and invest. What's the third thing people could do with that?
Number 3 is to pay off high interest debts.
Okay.
So this is more leaning towards your high interest credit cards, your payday loans, things like that, where you're
Don't do
paying
the
more.
payday loan. Please don't do it. I did the payday
Listen,
loan.
people have them though. And my
Yeah,
thing
people.
is, if you got it, pay it off,
Right.
because, your APR 99 to 300%.
I did the payday loan where it was no cap. I think my thing was like 350%. I didn't know what I
Yeah.
was doing, obviously, but yeah.
Yeah. So
Payday loan,
definitely
stay away.
pay them off, because you're going to end up paying, 3-4 times
Right.
what you borrowed. And if you can't get out of it,
Right.
it's a very, very nasty beast. And, because we don't have access to resources, sometimes that's what we have to resort to. But
Right.
now is a great opportunity. Use that stimulus check and get yourself out.
Yeah, please. Definitely those high interest loans and things like that. Definitely try to pay it off. Try to cut into the principal, because you end up, like Tremaine saying, paying 3-4 times whatever it's worth if you stick to those monthly payments. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So we got paying the bills. We got saving and investing. Paying off high interest debt. What's something else people can do with that stimulus check?
Okay, so this is my favorite one. Do something fun.
Mm.
I've been looking at a lot of people's statuses about how they don't know what to do with themselves because they're sitting in the house all day, and you got to take care of yourself. And so we like to be responsible with our resources, but at the same time, you don't want to regret being responsible. So anytime you get an amount of money, you want to take a small portion of it and treat yourself, whatever your vice is. So
treat yourself.
Treat yourself. Now, please be responsible and socially distance
Right.
Pick something that's a responsible, socially distanced option. But treat yourself to something nice.
Right.
So, it can be a little pick me up, make you feel better, because we got to keep ourselves in check and make it through this time.
Right. Now, are you suggesting like major purchases or something like, so for the guys, buy the PS4, or for the girls, buy that wig you've been looking at, or whatever the case is, something just to kind of get you, what you think?
Listen, a wig is a major purchase.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
A quality one is a major purchase. But it's relative, right? It all boils down to what you can reasonably afford. If I have, $1,000 worth of bills that need to be paid right now, it doesn't make sense to buy a $400 weave.
Right.
And I only got $1,200. So you gotta be smart with it. Treat yourself, but don't spend the whole 1,000 on you and only spend 200 being responsible. So I typically use about 10% of any of my bonus money to do stuff for myself. So that's my number, 10%.
10% is good. I like that. And I think that also ties into a lot of people are feeling like helpless and hopeless. A lot of people are feeling like in despair and stuff. But sometimes when we, tap into those things that we like, or, treat ourselves, it just helps with our mental health. It makes us feel good. Something about the cortisone when we buy something that we like, and, we're excited. It's not going to be a major fix, but it's definitely a step in the right direction. So yeah. So we got paying the bills, saving and investing, paying off high interest debt, and then so try to treat yourself.
Yeah.
All right.
So the next one is start that business that you've been putting off. So I have seen so many side hustles being born, with this new pivot that folks have had to make. And now that you have a resource being given to you, take it and invest it back into yourself, right? Who better to bet on than you? Right. Especially if you're not certain about your full-time employment. And I'm not saying that everybody needs to turn into an entrepreneur. That's not it. If you have never thought about opening a business, now's not the time to do it. But if you've been talking about this for 3-4 years, if I just had, the money to buy my LLC and get my business license, if that's what you've been waiting for, now's the time to do it. And you trapped inside. So what else you gonna do?
Right. Definitely, I would say yeah. So being trapped inside, one thing is you could definitely take a step in the right direction for your business and things like that. But then also educating yourself. So being able to see, if you want to open a barbershop, I don't know. The best thing that you can do right now is research all the barbershops that are doing well in your area and creating some kind of scheme as to what you'll do that'll be a little different to kind of keep you in that same arena. But
yeah, definitely. How can you go in and dominate at what you do well, right? I think sometimes we're also scared because we think, oh well, there's 15 barbers in my city. Okay, well, there's a lot of people that need haircuts, and there's a population of people that you are designed to serve.
Right, exactly.
How are you going to tap into that population of people that you're supposed to reach?
Right. So, exactly. Having the courage to, you can't win it unless you're in it. So just being able to, see how you'll be different, having the confidence to, go into things strong, but definitely don't be discouraged unless, saturation is one thing. But, definitely don't be discouraged because like I said, everyone needs a haircut, and, it's about kind of tapping into what your niche is for sure. All right. So we got paying bills, saving and investing, paying off high interest debt, buying something, treat yourself, start the business, and then what's something else that people can do?
The last one is to take a class. Do something to improve your skill set. So regardless of if you are self-employed or you work for somebody, or maybe, there's just a thing you want to learn to do, you have more time to replace your entertainment time with improving yourself. And so it doesn't necessarily have to be, okay, well, I'm going to take, a course in accounting. Maybe that's not what you want, but maybe you want to become fluent in French. or you want to learn how to play the guitar, or whatever the case might be.
Or business class, you may need a
or
little foundation. Right.
or business class. You know, whatever it is that you're passionate about, you can elevate your skill set and take it to the next level. And maybe you come out of this with a job offer at a company with a higher paying position because you got a new certification. So
Right.
this doesn't have to be a time where, you know, everybody turns into a business owner, but this should be an opportunity to elevate yourself and become a better version of who you are.
For sure. And I think that's really important. So there are a ton of resources right now for people. So I think Harvard and Columbia were offering some free classes at one point.
Cornell.
Yeah, Cornell. You know, if you're into like public speaking, like Eric Thomas and things like that, everyone's offering like discounted rates.
Yes.
Because things are going virtually. So I think just kind of tapping into whatever your niche is, wherever you see yourself, whatever you want to do, being able to kind of fuel that fire and putting some education behind it is going to pay off more than that 1,200, I think, for sure.
Yeah. Find the person who is doing what you want to do and go see what education they have available for you. So like you mentioned, if you want to be a public speaker, go see what Eric Thomas has going on.
Right.
And tap into that resource. There's no reason to try to reinvent the wheel. You can just go jump on the bandwagon and then dominate your niche with your personality.
Right. So they're saying that's how Walmart put Kmart out of business. You know, they literally did everything Kmart did, and they added more food. You know, Kmart, they didn't have the food like that, but you know, making it a one-stop shop. So I think part of success is kind of studying the game, and like you're saying, it's not about reinventing the wheel. It's about going with the momentum and finding your own lane for sure. So that's what we got for the things to do. Let's talk about, before you were saying like the safety net, how important is it to have like that safety net financially?
So the biggest reason for me is the stress relief. There is a level of confidence that you have when you are not worried about your finances, right? You know that feeling we all have on payday when, you know, you got money in your account. That feeling exists beyond paying your bills if you create it. And so
payday is really a euphoria. You see that check, boy, you know, you feeling good, you looking good. Okay.
It really is. And like we love the payday, but imagine living in a state of peace because you're not worried about if checks are going to bounce, if you're going to get declined at the register. Like, that brings another level of security. And not that money is everything, because it isn't, but the peace from having your resources is everything.
Yeah.
So that's safety net
kind of stuff too.
You said what?
Maslow's hierarchy. So it's like when your basic needs are met, you know, you're able to elevate to different you know, different levels. So I read this book. It's by the guy who wrote Rich Dad Poor Dad. So he says savers are losers. So this is why he says it. He says, so let's say you have $10,000, right? So you can put the $10,000 into account, but he recommends that you take that $10,000 and try to diversify your investments. He said you'll fail initially, but so let's say you have $10,000 in your account, your savings account, right? You're not going to accrue that much APR. But let's say you had $10,000 in Zoom stocks or something like that. Obviously, it's more volatile. It's a lot more risk, but the reward can be higher. With your expertise, what do you think about that?
It's nice in theory, but
good, right?
In real life, if I have a family, I cannot bank on my stock choices hitting all the time, right? There has to be a baseline of, okay, this is the amount in the account that I'm not going to go below because I have a family to take care of. Now, should the rest of your stuff be diversified? Absolutely. But do I think you need to put everything into stock? No. But if you want to invest in stock, find a S&P 500 index fund and throw it in there. It'll diversify it for you, and then that way you don't have to do that much work. But I disagree.
And the S&P 500 is like the NBA of stocks, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. All right.
Yes. Oh, I love that analogy. I'm still in that.
Right, because it's like the best of the best.
It is. It's the best of the best. It's the top 500. It updates every quarter, and so folks is getting kicked out this quarter, but it changes, and so it's a great place to start to invest if you're a beginner, because you don't have to go see, okay, well, what are the best companies? They tell you.
Right. Another thing that's important. So I follow this guy. He's called Wall Street Trapper. He's on Instagram and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So he's a black guy from New Orleans. He kind of got into the stock game. He said from drug money, because he used the money, it was so much that he just kind of diversified it in stocks. So he was explaining how he came across dividends, right? Mm-hmm. So with some stocks, they'll pay you based off the performance of the company. So if you can identify different companies that have strong dividends, that's really going to be important.
Yeah. So dividends are great, but everything has a place. So dividends are, like you mentioned, they're when a company pays out a portion of the earnings. Now, the best thing for young people to do right now who don't need dividend money to live is to invest in dividend reinvestment programs. So these are called DRIPs. And what happens is the company will pay you the dividend, and then it'll automatically be reinvested into the company and buy more shares. So it's like,
what do they reinvest in?
So like my favorite DRIP is Dominion.
I like the name DRIP. I don't know why. It's like it's DRIP.
But it buys more shares of the same company. So whatever company you buy shares of, so let's say I buy shares of Dominion, and Dominion pays me a dividend. That dividend will go back and buy more shares of Dominion. So instead of me getting a cash payment, I get more shares of stock.
So you can buy it, but then it's also doing self-investing. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a great way to build up your portfolio.
Right. And they're called DRIPs.
Yeah, they're called DRIPs.
Okay. All right. Awesome. All right. See, we have some questions. You want to shift gears, answer a few questions?
Yeah, we can answer questions.
All right, cool. All right. So this is like in the box. All right. How do you deal with someone having a panic attack? Also, what's the difference between a panic attack? I think that one's for me.
Yeah.
Panic attack and anxiety attack. So I think the best ways to deal with a panic attack is identifying your coping skills. So whether that's meditation or deep breathing or journaling or decatastrophizing. But the main difference between a panic attack is an anxiety attack. However, a panic attack is a little more intense. So it can feel like a heart attack. You can stop breathing. You can feel, as if you're going in and out of consciousness, where anxiety attack is more of a rush of anxiety, but it's a little more manageable. So I say that the best way to stop it is going to be tapping into your coping skills and using the tools in your toolbox for sure. All right, so that's that one. This is my first time doing the question thing with the box. It's kind
of cool.
Yeah. All right, loans that I take out on my business, does it have anything to do with my personal credit score?
Oh, that's a great question. So the answer is it depends. If this was a loan that was personally guaranteed by you, meaning you had to, my battery, my phone is dying. But if it was a personal guarantee and you backed it with your credit, then yes, this can impact your credit because you're guaranteeing it. Now, if it is a loan that is only through your business, your personal tax ID has no connection to it, then no.
Okay. Another thing, speaking of loans, so they're saying they're allowing, up to 10,000 for like the small business loans?
They lie.
They lie.
Well, they ran out of money, so that's the thing. We're waiting for the next round of funding, and I knew they was gonna run out of money. It wasn't enough, but they ran out of money. So also too, the amounts that they were promising have been reduced too. So
I mean, I'll take a grant. I'm not doing the loan.
Well, they're saying that a lot of it's forgivable depending on what you spend it on.
Right. Okay. Oh, it's really? Oh, that's pretty cool. All right. So what licenses do you guys have? So me, I'm a licensed therapist. I have a PhD, I guess.
Yeah, so I'm a licensed investment advisor. I have a Series 6, 63, 65. I also have life, health, and annuities and licenses in Virginia, Pennsylvania, Florida, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Colorado.
Oh man, Colorado.
I had a client out there.
All right. Here we go. Next one. My mother passed away recently. First of all, sorry for your loss.
Oh, Lord.
I've been waking up with panic attacks shortly after sleeping. What does it say? Falling asleep. I don't want to get on meds. So, talk to you about the stages of grief. So there are 5 stages of grief. So the first one is denial. The second one is blaming. The third is bargaining. The fourth is anger. And then it finally leads to acceptance. I say the best way to get over grief is kind of journaling about your feelings, seeing where you are within those stages. I think losing your mother is one of the hardest things that a lot of people experience. So tapping into support groups, tapping into your support network, so whether that's family or friends, just to try to get you through this difficult time. But my condolences to your mom. Hey, Christina, for sure. Okay. All right, so guys, we can open it to the main questions now. All right, so those are the only ones we had on screen. Any questions, guys, about finances, about stimulus checks, about what to do with your money? We'll open it up for a few minutes, and then yeah. So let's talk while they're doing that. I don't want to say, do you think the economy is going to crash? But if we're
Yes.
pretty much,
I do.
I think. Go ahead.
I do. I feel like there's this struggle between placing value on life versus having to rebuild an economy. And my thing is, you can rebuild an economy. We can't place, a value on, what's an okay amount of death. And the thing is, like, until it's somebody that's in your family, are we really doing this? So this push to get the economy back open, like, I understand people need to work and all that great stuff, but I don't know. I feel like until some folks in leadership experience this closer to home, they won't realize the gravity of who's on the front line.
Right, for sure. Now, also, I think with the stimulus checks, we're printing monopoly money, right? So the fact that we're not backed by, gold anymore, there's some reports saying that, the economy, the U.S. dollar, can essentially crash. Scary
and not worth anything.
Right. Scary times. A lot of people are saying that they don't think it can happen. I don't think, people would think we'll be in self-quarantine now either. So just kind of looking at the grand scheme of things, I think prayers up for the country and, just hoping that the leadership makes the right choices. All right. So my man Mason, what's up, Mason? He says, how important is it to pay down student loan debt versus other debt?
Oh, this is a good question. So my answer is, what industry do you work in? If you are in an industry that has loan forgiveness programs, my philosophy is don't pay more than you have to. So if you intend to stay in that industry and you can get on the program where you make 120 consecutive payments, pay that. That's it. Let them forgive the rest. Ideally, we really want to focus on debt with the highest interest and pay that off first because it's costing us the most. So what you pay off is relative to what type of debt you have. If you have lots of credit card debt, other high interest debts, pay those off first. And not to say student loans don't matter, but
get that. So they said
they're at the bottom of the list.
Yeah. So everyone has them, right? So I think the they said like 98% of people got denied by whoever's in administration now. So that means they've made the 120 consecutive payments, and then when it's time to forgive, they were like, no, keep going.
Well, there are strict rules you have to follow. So because I know a couple people have been denied too. You cannot have gaps. You can't
Okay.
miss any payments.
Consecutive, 120
Yes.
consecutive.
Also, if you've done any other type of program, so like if you did like an AmeriCorps program or anything like that, that time doesn't count. So it has to be specific to public service. You can't double dip. And so that's what some people are doing too. They're trying to double dip and that time doesn't count.
Okay. All right, Victoria says, what's up, Victoria? And what's up, Dr. Booker? All right, so Victoria says, what are your thoughts on investing in our rates, right?
Oh, REITs. Yes, we like those. We like REITs. So a REIT is a real estate investment trust. It is an opportunity to invest in real estate without actually buying real estate. So essentially, you're putting your money into a pool of funds and investing in lots of different types of projects. So REITs can be focused on like commercial property. They can be focused on residential. You know, they could be multifamily REITs. They can have specific segments with inside of real estate, but it gives you an opportunity and exposes you to returns without actually having to own a piece of property. So I really like REITs. They can be great way to fill out your investment portfolio. It's a nice way to enter the real estate market without having $100,000 to buy property.
Right, a little less risk, less risk. Okay.
Lower barrier to entry.
Right. All right. So all right, we can do like a little outro. Let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah. Well, this was fun. Thank you so much for having me.
No, thank you for, I think the people need to hear this. Thank you for doing what you're doing and just trying to educate the community through finances. I take my hat off to you for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Yeah, so you guys can find me. My handle is Tremaine Wills. I have a free Facebook group. It's called Get Your Money Right. I've been going live there every day this month since it's Financial Literacy Month, just teaching basic concepts. We've been focusing a lot on credit because it seems like that's what our community needs. And so you can catch me in that group. It's 100% free. Also, My Last Dime. We have an app that connects us to financial resources. So if you are somebody who needs an accountant, tax preparer, you need a real estate agent, whatever you need, that service is available in the app. So
that's tough. And it's called, what's the app called?
My Last Dime.
My Last Dime. Yes. And then the Facebook group is called Get Your Money Right.
Get Your Money Right.
I like that. All right, guys. So thanks again, Tremaine, for all your help. You guys can always find me, drnortontherapy.com. If you have with your stimulus check, always, if you want to empower yourself, always seek out a therapist. A lot of therapists are doing some virtual sessions through this tough time. So, we're all in this together. And thank you guys for tuning in. And, we'll be back next week. All right. Thanks, Tremaine. Appreciate it.
No problem.
All right. Bye.